right, welcome to the Green Room show for episode number 24 of Limit Break Radio and episode number 2 of Final Encountercast. Let's start with the Limit Break Radio stuff.
I gotta admit, guys, today's LBR
was the best
not
one.
all that great.
It went really smoothly.
It really
It
did.
went very smoothly, and we had a lot of viewers. I couldn't help but notice.
Yeah,
our viewer count was way up from last week.
400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smoothly does not mean
Interesting.
good. Smoothly is boring, okay?
A lot of good callers.
A lot of good calls.
The conversation was very good. Comedy was all there.
Everything ran
I
smoothly.
will give you Rob from New York.
Not very
Good
chaotic, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
Not very
Yeah.
random and off the
Very
wall.
few derailments.
Right. I wonder
This
what was
really
going
does
on.
sound like a boring fucking episode.
We had a really interesting discussion on raid anxiety. I had said,
Actually, good thing I wasn't there. I don't get that.
sure,
You'd have been the only one.
because that's why you do so much endgame.
Time to do it.
Yeah, right, yeah, because that's the excuse that all of the people who have raid anxiety always put up. Oh, I don't have the time, or my schedule shifts, I can't find a static, or it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. It does. That's the thing. So, it was a very good discussion. Had a lot of really great callers today. A lot of new callers, a lot of new names.
All of them except
For Rob.
Rob.
Except for
How
Rob.
many times did he call in?
51.
51. I missed a couple.
Oh, wow.
So
I think his last name actually is from New York.
that's
Rob
really
from
sweet.
New York.
Yeah. By
Yeah.
the way,
Hyphenated?
Juxta, is this an accident or
No,
is
no,
it
I planned this.
purposeful?
This
Okay.
is
Just say he was
Joe
wearing-
Never.
He was wearing Flash earlier,
Yeah,
so obviously
well,
it was not
Yeah,
an
it's
accident.
intentional, and it says, "Do you even PvP, bro?" Shirt. Gotta rep the Final Fantasy streamers.
I just
Right.
enjoy seeing you wearing a shirt that has a dragoon on it.
Well,
That's
he can't-
unfortunate.
Yeah, he can't be perfect, you know.
Plus, if we were to take that dragoon off, then you see your nipple, or is it a little no?
No, it's over here.
Oh,
Over here,
I think part of something that a lot of people will notice from LBR 24 is that Kahlo, you were not there, and now you are. You wanna?
Explain?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
And stop playing fucking records.
Yeah, I put my
Seriously,
I didn't think
it's
I
the
had
green.
time.
It's the green.
I have nothing to add to this conversation.
It's the green room
except
show.
for this.
Put your phone away.
rude.
Seriously.
Rude.
People can see you.
Yeah, I know people can see me.
God damn it.
There were some real life things that happened, and I had to cover a shift at work. It was kind of an emergency thing, so I wasn't able to be here as early as what I would have liked to have been.
And because we were doing both shows, it wasn't a situation where we could adjust our start time for Limit Break Radio. If we had done that, we would have started Limit Break Radio at 6, and then if we had held to this even if we had kept our break to a minimum between the two shows,
We'd have been
still
here
been
well after midnight.
Yeah, after midnight. Yeah. So if you're wondering why that was a thing, that's why. Obviously we don't want to like bog the show down with over explaining that kind of shit because it doesn't really matter. But this is the appropriate place to sort of talk about something like that. So, all right, from the three of us that were on the show, how do you guys feel like the discussion went? This was a topic that was not necessarily generated internally. It was sort of brought to our attention through an email, and it sort of struck a nerve with us in the room, and it struck a nerve with the audience. We got 3 or 4 more emails that touched on the subject, and then we got like 5 people calling in about it today. So
It really was one of those topics where, like, it was something in the community that everyone kind of experiences, but nobody really talks about. And then as soon as it gets brought up, all of us kind of in unison, we're like, oh yeah, all the time,
it's like-
definitely. And everyone's like, oh, you do too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a thing that is worth talking about.
and it's kind of different because we don't generally plan shows like that
No.
as
It's very organic. Probably one of the most organic
topics.
topics
Yeah.
that we came up with.
Yeah, I would tend to agree.
Literally came out of the Salted Earth episode.
Yeah, and
That's where that one started, right? Someone had that comment in Salted Earth about the raid anxiety.
I can't remember.
It was the episode after that.
Yeah, it was Double Down.
Double down?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember where exactly the origin of that was, but yeah, it's a really fascinating topic. I'm really glad for the emailer who had brought it to our attention, and clearly we were able to make an entire episode out of it.
It really did. Like, I thought this episode would, when I was originally reading the outline, I kind of had the idea that Alexander Savage would more dominate the discussion, but once we got onto the subject of raid anxiety, the calls lit up. Everyone wanted to talk about that, and it really dominated.
Not many people wanting to talk about Alex Savage, by the way.
I just don't think enough people know about it yet.
And to be honest, we weren't really as knowledgeable as I feel like we should have been about Alex Savage, myself included, because I was about to talk about Savage 3 and then Savage 4.
But we're not a fucking guide shop. Like, we don't make FF14 guides. Nobody comes to us to go, oh well, I don't know what this content is. I gotta figure out how to do the mechanics from Limit Break Radio. Nobody does that.
They do the complete opposite. They come to us and say, fuck you guys, you don't raid. What the shit is up with that, posers?
Yeah, nobody's saying when is the
Bullshit.
LBR guide on turn 3 coming out? Never. It's never coming out.
We should totally do spoof guides.
I thought about that at one point. It's like, can we get a series of guides that are translations of Ms. Tech guides for players who don't know what the fuck she's talking about?
Or I would love to do a guide that's just all wrong. Like every bit, every
guide
bit
of getting people hit by every mechanic.
I have a better idea. Let's do audio guides to the fights as Gobblecocks and whatever my mod name is.
I wouldn't. We've kind of tossed out the idea of doing drunk lore as a segment. I think drunk guides would be even funny.
Raid guides?
Drunk raid guide.
Be like, all right, before we do this guide,
Hey, it's this guy. It's his name is the Living Liquid, but I can't drink him. Ha! I think that would be hysterical.
do 3 shots of Jack and then go at it.
Yeah,
see what comes out.
It's just us sitting down, getting very drunk, and then turning on our microphones and recording as someone has to try and call out what we're supposed to be doing.
You know what this is? This is just justifying our addiction. That's really what it is.
I get
we
paid
should
to
totally do that.
I get paid to drink on stream. That's justifying my addiction.
We also had a ton of emails today. What do you guys think of the uptick in emails? We've got a serious uptick in emails as of the last 3 episodes.
I mean, our viewers without hosts has essentially doubled.
Yes.
So it would make sense that our emails would about double too.
Well, even beyond that, since we've gone weekly, I feel like
I think
we
that's
talked
the
about.
catalyst for both of it.
Well, yeah, but we talked about how the email episode, that was always kind of the drag point for us. I think at that point, anyone writing in emails might not have been horribly excited about our presentation of their emails.
Maybe.
And they might be more excited about it now.
That's possible. That's possible. But I mean, it's just, if we keep getting emails in this volume, it's going to be really difficult to move on to a segment like Limit Breaking Music or a top, top 10, 14.
I'm not even sure it comes down to that. It's just,
we just might have to be more selective of our emails.
That could be it,
not
too.
unfortunately.
I know that's,
there.
I know people get really disappointed when they don't hear their email,
Yeah.
and I understand it, but
Going forward, though,
God, we've
imagine
really been
our
trying
growth.
here.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if we just keep growing from here. It's going to be one of the harsh realities of it. Unfortunately.
here's what you guys have to look at it. Would you rather us sacrifice some of the great discussion we've had to read more emails?
I don't know, because the emails that we've been getting have been so smart and insightful.
The driven conversation.
What if we give Escalia his own show and he can read all the other emails? That way we don't have to deal with it or him.
What would we call
I
it?
wouldn't even want to watch
I don't
that.
give a crap.
Then that's the show.
That's the show name.
I don't give a crap.
It's ironic because that's also how I feel about the subject.
Tell you
Yes,
what.
I think we need to make me more popular with the fans. That's what we need to do.
Tell you what, Patreon donors, if you get up to, $4,000 a month, maybe we'll give you a show just dedicated to emails by all of us at LBR. Monthly.
That sounds like a terrible show. That sounds like an awful show.
And that's a very good incentive for $4,000.
But you know what? We don't have any other incentives, so we are quickly approaching.
Yeah, if we hit
2K a month.
2,000, we're gonna be suddenly thinking, you know what? What do we want to do for 3,000?
Well, once they hit 2,000, the next tier of rewards gets put out.
Yeah.
Because we have one of those.
Yeah.
We have another tier of rewards, guys.
And there may or may not
We're
be
not making them up right
There
now.
may or may not be an LBR porn parody on there.
May not.
There's not.
fortunately.
There's not.
Thank God.
There's not. Spoiler alert, there isn't. There is. Anyway, so
Never have I been more horrified that Nika's the only one who doesn't live in state.
So any other thoughts, comments, feelings about Limit Break Radio today? I mean, it was overall a really good show. We got a good turnout. I was really happy with the way that it happened, and
I was just thrilled to hear like we got like 4 callers in a row who had amazingly good quality microphones
Yeah.
and nice voices to talk to.
It's true.
Which coming, you come out of radio, I come out of a shitty podcast that only talk to people. I would have killed to have 4 calls in a row like that.
I think you would have killed to have 4 calls.
There you go.
I had 4 calls plenty of times. Fuck you.
God, was it the same 4 people that you had talked to last episode?
Family members
Yeah.
don't count.
Ah!
I've never had a family member call in. I'm happy to say.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that's all I have to say about Limit Break Radio. Although, guys, I gotta.
What are we doing next week?
Yeah, I gotta
What are we
admit,
talking
I'm
about?
sort of tapped out on topics, man. Like, I don't know what we're gonna do next week.
I feel like
This has been the first time where I'm like legitimately Sunday, like I just have no idea what the next show is gonna be.
I feel like, I don't know, at least for me this week, I'm planning on making my journey into Alexander One Savage, so I will have a little bit to talk about there next week.
I
when I've
don't
had
want
some experience.
to. I don't want to talk.
What more are we gonna say about Savage? I wasn't
Yeah,
even on
yeah.
this episode, and I have nothing else to say about it.
It's true.
There really isn't that much to say. I mean, it's hard, but
It's hard.
when we talk about endgame content, we talk about it in a context that's way bigger than just looking at one encounter or one
Yeah.
series of encounters. We talk about it in way bigger development abstract.
Alright, I have a few ideas that when we put on paper, maybe we can see if something else comes of them,
Okay.
right? But since we've been in a little bit of an endgame tryst, and you know how we don't like the direction, maybe we could have a big open-ended discussion where we sit down as a group, collectively, pitch brainstorm our own endgame idea. What should
Pitch our
endgame
own
be?
dungeon?
No, not dungeon. Our own event, something
Sure.
that we think the game needs that's different from.
But
what
I
it
sort of
already
feel
has.
like I've been doing that by saying, hey, we need the airship content should be something that is like endgame focused, or the 24-man raid should be something that's more
We've
endgame
done it a
focused.
little bit here and there, but I don't know. Maybe like I said, we'll put it on paper over the next few days and maybe see what comes out of it, or. Maybe because we don't have guests very often. Maybe we could try and get like Joe or Samus on, and we could talk about
When is the last time we had a major guest on?
I mean, it's
FF14
Mr. Happy.
FF14
No, FF, right?
streaming. We had Fairground today. Sorry, Fairground.
Thank you.
But
Sure. Right here, hi.
the FF14 streaming community has visibly been getting a hell of a lot bigger recently, right?
True, yeah.
Maybe we could have one of them on there, and we could find a way to.
Joe,
talk
what can we
about
do
that.
to steal more of your Twitch viewers?
We haven't had Joe on the show proper.
And I know
unless
we
on
wanted
the
to do
moments
something
that-
with Joe
yeah.
for a while now.
Yeah, we have.
So there's an
Maybe.
idea.
I mean, there is a whole new PvP
Okay, so we have-
section that we could talk about with Joe. So.
Yeah. What?
Do you even PvP, bro?
I PvP. Do you PvP?
Well,
I don't
if we're doing
say
a
it,
PvP show, I could
apparently.
do it.
Maybe we need to. Maybe we're thinking about this the wrong way. Oh, I have a follow-up to that actually. Our best episodes are when we have a broad discussion topic. So we need to look at Final Fantasy and maybe just MMOs in a broad sense, and then pick away at something broadly. Not like something specific in Final Fantasy, like a zone or something, or like a raid or something, but something broad. Like maybe, I'm just brainstorming here, like something like the dungeon design, or
The way
more
that
of
they
a-
storytell.
more of a
story
more of a
world
concept
building.
of the game.
something that's like a discussion topic that we can like pull from like other games of the genre, or even other games outside of the genre.
Isn't that sort of similar to the last 3 conversations that we've held though? I mean, where
Not
we're
necess-
taking what Heaven's Word has given us and compared it to other MMO expansions, or picked apart what they're presenting for forward endgame progression, and whether or not that meets I feel like a lot of those discussions have sort of been wrapped up in the other discussions. Like like we sort of touched on them, but I'm not sure if we can unpack them and really like bring them into fully fleshed topics like we do, with these other things, you know.
Maybe,
And,
maybe something like with that one email we had before, like about the metagame, how outside factors influence the game in the game or something.
yeah, you might have something
if
there.
we got Samus or Joe on, Samus particularly, because I think
Yeah,
he was the one that opened it up. I bet we could do a full episode on the metagaming.
We might be.
It's a major point that we, like, again, almost like the raid anxiety, until we heard it in the email, we hardly touched on it.
I don't know. I sort of feel like even like when we read that email and when we talked about the metagame, that we didn't maybe do a good enough job.
It kind of caught me off a little bit because it was a new concept to me. As well.
Yeah, and
had to dwell on it.
and the point, I think the point kind of got muddled, where we sort of talked about what it was or wasn't, and maybe it is something that's worth revisiting.
Okay.
Especially if we can get a guest on who,
Yeah.
who was the one who was kind of the
You're welcome. You can
person
have
who
that.
primed it.
All right, so that's what you might be able to look forward to next time on Limit Break
Or
Radio.
maybe we'll just be in the back catching dickheads together.
Or maybe boobs.
Hashtag Dave Bailey.
Hashtag.
But we've known going weekly that eventually we were going to come up on a week where there might not be exciting news, and we would have to kind of fly by the seat of our
There
pants.
hasn't been exciting news.
I'm kind of hoping that we're gonna get like a
news about the patch.
Yeah, something
Something
like
come out.
live
For a love of-
producer letter or something. Like we're overdue for one at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Yoshi, if he's watching, he's like, let's see how long they can dangle.
yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yoshi.
God damn it.
Sir, we do have a game to produce here. Not now! Look at the way they stew.
Fucking with a podcast. Don't you? Okay. No, that wasn't going anywhere. I think that's what you can look forward to for Limit Break Radio for next time. I had mentioned this on the show, and I'm not gonna post it to Patreon, so you have to wait until like minute 23 or whatever this is in this video to be able to check out the new design for LimitBreakRadio.com. I'm gonna tell you where to find it, okay? It's at new.limitbreakradio.com. You can go check it out right now. Most of the content is live. All of the 14 content is live and active. If you guys could do me a favor, if you go and check it out and you poke around and you use the site, look, if you run into like a dead link or a dead play button, anything like that, make sure to email me, host@limitbreakradio.com. Let me know if there's anything that I need to change or adjust. Because, we want this, this new design has come together really quickly for us, and we want to make sure that all of the content is ready to go before we make it a live site. And being that we have 10 years worth of content, that's a lot of work. And it's really, it's really easy work. It's mostly just copy and pasting stuff from old posts, but it's also really easy to copy and paste a URL string and then forget the 3 on .mp3, like to leave off the 3 from a
break it.
Yeah, and so it ends up broken. And so if you find anything that's broken, we really need to know so that we can fix it. So that's the first thing.
Basically be our quality assurance.
Yeah, so
again, that's new.limitbreakradio.com.
new.limitbreakradio.com. There's some cool stuff that you guys can check out. There's a bit of Twitch, integrated Twitch functionality where you can see whether or not we're live or not straight from the any of the pages, right from the navigation bar. If we are live, you can see a quick screenshot of what's live on the stream, what the title is, how many people are watching, and what game we're streaming for. So if we're in the middle of a Limit Break Radio live episode, you're going to be able to figure that out straight from limitbreakradio.com. You don't have to go and check the Facebook page. Oh, what time did they say that we were streaming? Oh, it's it's 2:00 today. Okay. You know what I mean? So if there's any question about that, limitbreakradio.com will be able to clear that up.
Really, you won't ever have to go to another website again.
For anything Limit Break Radio.
No,
for
anything in
anything.
general. There's no reason to go to another site.
Well, the thing.
Except for Final Encounter Cast.
Here's no. Here's the thing: is that with the old Limit Break Radio site, at one point when we were still an 11 show, we tried to use limitbreakradio.com as like a way that people got play online news, and like we would kind of use it as a bit of a blog too. We're getting rid of any of that FF11 news that, or any official news that we used to post. That is a dead concept. Nobody comes to Limit Break Radio to check out what's going on in FF14 news.
We're not an informational news source.
We do have a blog portion of the site now, which is going to be kind of separated out. Like, instead of being a part of the top role, like this site is designed to serve up the podcast. That is the important thing that we make. It's not any of the posts that we make to limitbreakradio.com, because 4 people end up seeing them and reading it. If you're interested in what we post, that's going to be in a blog section. So right at the top at the navigation, you can hit blog and see all of our blog posts, and you won't get all muddled with the podcast posts. And vice versa, at limitbreakradio.com, you'll be getting the show first and foremost, and then if you scroll down a bunch, then you can see what the latest posts for the blog are. But that's it. Those are really only the only functions of our website.
So basically, you would be going to Limit Break Radio for
Limit Break Radio, which is why anyone would come to Limit Break Radio in the first place. So we think that we've found a better way to display and deliver what we do in terms of the content that we produce. And hopefully you'll like it. We've put a lot of work into it, and
by that he means he's put a lot of work into it.
And I put a little bit of work in it.
Chuck's is a helper.
I helped a little bit.
So would you say that while you were out like fighting the war and really getting the meat and potatoes done, he was like
Cooking the meat and potatoes.
staying the marmot population?
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah.
I'd say that. That's legit.
Okay. Which is more than what Kaolo and Ascali have been doing.
Which is nothing.
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 Excuse me.
Just like their 1.0 participation.
Excuse me. Looking this good is not easy. Otherwise, you two would be able to do it.
Oh.
La, 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 la. Son of a you motherfucker, make the noise.
Dude, that's yours and his thing.
No, that is a Big Hero 6 thing.
Yeah, you fucked up that name, by the
Which
way.
I'm
Way
pretty
to
sure
go.
that game that they announced a year ago, really going good.
Yeah, you did. You gave me hopes and dreams and crushed them in one fell swoop. Kudos.
Wow,
Although I
good
was-
job. Good job.
Hey, look, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
There we go.
Oh, that was good. That was like right in front. You had to watch that happen.
He knew it was happening too. Good job, number 6.
That was nice.
That's okay, because had I not done it, he wouldn't have done it then.
It doesn't
It
matter.
matters. I am okay with that because we've taught him. He's learning.
It's a learning
Okay.
He
experience.
taught it to do it to me, and he's not going to do it to you.
Oh, he'll still do it to me.
Okay, so let's Limit Break Radio, good episode. Thank you guys for the participation. We hope that you continue to stay involved and check out the live shows and everything. Thank you so much for your support. I saw our Patreon tick up at least 4 or 5 times during that episode.
Yeah. Before the episode.
Even before the episode, but I think during the episode I saw it a couple of times
Yeah, I
too.
did.
I saw a couple of $1.
Check Patreon.
So thank you guys so much for continuing your support for Limit Break Radio. Hopefully you're enjoying these bonus pieces of content in our green room videos. We did recently order a couple of more new pieces of hardware, so we will be there will be some more behind the scenes videos. I ordered some computer parts. I think building his super impressive computer was enough. I'm not gonna make another video of building a mid-tier, like budget rig. Like,
Hey, look at my GTX 370 I got.
Oh no! Onboard graphics, like that's how budget we're talking here. This is a computer to help run the show. We need 3 PCs to run the show to be able to.
And yet we have the audacity to blame the heat on Juxta.
And we have the 3 PCs. One PC is to host the Twitch stream. Another PC is to host our callers and our drops, and the third PC is to have Nika. And
maybe we should have one more PC for Final Encountercast to have a webcam. One PC.
Which, by the way,
we don't need that. We just need one more
I'll say
webcam.
equipment budget webcam for next episode. New webcam.
Yeah, that's gonna
Come
I
happen.
don't know if we can squeeze that out.
Oh, a little tight, huh?
That's
The
good.
most expensive part of this new rig is Windows 7.
Yeah, I think that is the single most expensive part of the whole thing.
We could save money and just get Windows 10, guys.
Anyway, that's gonna be. We're gonna get some new hardware. I'll share it with you guys on the stream. We're also gonna be getting some more sound deadening for the studio. So the studio's gonna change a little bit from the last time that I gave you a behind the scenes
a little bit more
walkthrough.
colorful.
Yeah, I think I ordered blue this time.
Like bright blue, or is it
Yeah,
like Azure Dragoon blue, black,
You know what? I haven't ordered it yet, so you pick the color.
yellow,
Hot pink.
Pink.
and pink.
It's not gonna be
Pink.
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 I'm gonna
Yellow?
override that decision.
Yellow.
Your choices are blue and green.
And pink.
Green.
Like bright green.
No, it's
Yeah,
like a
green.
deep forest green.
Blue.
Something bright.
I'm not
how
doing
blue
bright.
is the blue?
It's like a royal blue. It's like your shirt blue.
Do they even have foam in like colors that are like bright?
Yeah.
I don't think they do.
No, they do.
Well, then get that.
Yeah, like preschool playmats.
No, well, the thing is that we don't have a ton of money to throw at it, so it has to be imperfect foam or remnants that we have to order. So we don't really get a whole lot of wiggle room in terms of color. It's whatever they have in a budget lot on eBay, because we value the money that you give to
How
us,
do
and
they
we
not
don't
just
waste
have a bunch of hot pink foam lying around? Like people are just like, nope, we need the pink shit.
Bright bubblegum pink. I like it.
Get rid of you.
Because Nicki Minaj needs to build a studio, guys. I mean, come on. Anyway, so that was Limit Break Radio. Let's talk about Final Encountercast. This was episode number 2. As we had pointed out, it's a really big dry spell post E3 in terms of video game news or video game releases for
It's
that.
not going to be getting exciting until October, probably.
Yeah, it really
Well,
is.
here's the thing though, because I don't know, I mean, obviously, talking about news is easy, and that's where we take a lot of our stuff, but I feel like we shine the best, and we're going to find our niche, or niche, or whatever the fuck, outside of news. Because everybody fucking does news.
It's true.
And how many, not even podcasts, but how many video casts do news the second it comes out?
Sure.
So I don't care if we're dry for news, because we are not contenders for news. We are contenders for our opinions and our theories on stuff, and I think that discussion topics like today is where we're really going to shine it.
But discussion topics like today are usually driven out of what's in the news for the game.
Sometimes, like our last episode, all of the E3 2015 news is what drove most of the discussion. So and I was kind of like making the comparison. If only to pose the question, how do you feel that today's episode went versus episode 1? When we left the room in episode 1, we were like on a friggin' episode high. We were
Yes.
like, that was amazing.
It was also our first episode too, so we
That's
didn't know
true.
what to expect.
That's
and the
true.
fact that it was so positive helped.
Okay, all right. I think that's fair.
I wouldn't say I felt like today's episode went any worse than the first episode.
Oh, we
except
didn't. I don't think we
This time,
floundered.
not only were we sitting next to Juxta, and we were both dying by the end of it. It was like, let me out of this room. But I thought the episode was great, and I don't know. I thought the discussion was really strong, and there were some really, really good points.
And that's when I have the most fun doing, whether it's Final Encounter or LBR, is when we're just a bunch of friends talking about shit. You know, not trying to communicate the news or reading from a headline, but when we just have a topic and we're debating it. You know.
It's a very different feeling because when you're reading, when you're talking about the news, you're talking about what's popular and that, you feel like you're a fan. Like when we do Limit Break Radio, I feel like we're all fans of Final Fantasy XIV talking about it. When we do this show and when we're having real discussions about the state of the gaming industry, where it's going, you feel like a professional. I feel that's the word for me. I feel like
I wouldn't
more
go that
of a.
far.
Well, no, but
for
you know what I
me-
mean.
For me, here's a good example. When you were reading through the news,
Sure.
I don't fucking care about Resident Evil. Like some of those new topics. Some of those news topics, I'm like, I don't even know what to add to this. Fuck it, I'm gonna turn it towards Pokemon. Like, you know? But when it comes to actual like discussions, everybody has an opinion about that in some way, you know? And so I feel like I'm more alive in sort of theoretical discussions than I am in news things, because if I don't have any stake in that particular bit of news, I feel like I'm not contributing.
Sure.
Well, how often can we keep going to the well for kind of like evergreen topics? You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
I don't
granted, gaming is pretty vast, But don't you think that the audience would start to pick up on that after a little while? I mean, that's I think the important function of staying plugged into what's going on in the video
Oh yeah,
game
no,
industry.
I'm not saying not, to stay
Right.
plugged into it, obviously,
Right.
because I mean, even if we are just reading from the news, that still gives birth to discussion topics.
Right.
But I think just how the same way that we make our way through LBR when there's no news and we're fine, I think that's going to transfer over in Final Encounter, and because gaming is much more vast than Final Fantasy 14 is, I don't foresee us having.
I don't know. Maybe it's a personal problem. Maybe I feel a little bit tapped out, like as a producer, in terms of like I got to come up with a show. I mean, this is where it's really advantageous for us to be a crew, and
Exactly.
there's
and you're
four people.
obviously, this is your thing.
Right.
When I write, when I draw, I'm super critical of myself. For me, this is just coming and talking about shit that I love.
Mhm.
But for you, it's more than that because this is what you do as well. So of course you're gonna be hypercritical about it. Like last episode when the technical difficulties, man, you were really beating yourself up.
Yeah, to
it
the
was
point,
rough.
which
And
by the
I
way,
guarantee
to the point where I was up at 8 o'clock this morning and had the studio set. Everyone's headphones, microphones, everything was set up.
I noticed that when we came in, I didn't have to get my headset out.
I did a dry run of all of the equipment to make sure that everything was working to the exactly where I wanted it, and I was ready. I was ready like 4 hours before you guys walked in the door.
Yeah.
And it was because I was so I had beat myself up, and I was so angry at myself for flubbing that last episode. I was like, I'm not gonna let that happen again.
But you're right. It's the things that you really care about that where that kind of thing happens. Like what he talks about, he's critical of artwork. You're critical of that show. For me, it's when I'm streaming overnight or something like that. If I come off a stream, a 5-hour stream, where I don't feel like I was particularly entertaining or it wasn't one of my better streams, I go to sleep pissed off. My roommates see me come upstairs sometimes just looking enraged, basically. I'll just get out there, like, literally kick my chair away.
Way to turn this to be all about you, Kala. We're talking about you.
Iceberg on your
What? I thought you were gonna say Callie, and
No.
so I was going with it for a second, and then you said Colin. Like,
Yeah, because I have the big ego. I make everything about me. That's my thing.
my point is, everyone has that thing.
Don't steal
Everyone
my
has something they care about.
shtick, dude.
Right?
Good lord.
Anyway, I think anyone needs a hug, Juxta.
No, I'm really
Aw.
warm and sweaty. This is
Juxta put
Okay,
his hand on my
quit.
face.
I put my hand in his
But
face,
no, I
too.
love, I don't mean to demean how it made you feel because I know how that type of thing is. But man, you're your biggest critic.
Would
and
you
you
relax?
No, I know that.
Especially when we play it off like something fun like the Garlic. Like,
People
that,
love that.
everyone loved that.
Blame them for everything.
yeah, no, we ended up making it funny, but so technical problems did plague this show as well. It seems like we can't launch a new show without having tons of problems, but then again, we rarely repeat ourselves when we put out new content. I feel like when we make something new, we try to push ourselves into an arena that maybe we're not totally comfortable in, but then, just by doing it,
You get better
we
at
get
it,
better
you
at
fix
it.
everything.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like grinding. The more you do it, the better you get.
Yeah, kind of.
So
So
it's like, you look like this episode. We know now if someone's camera goes down, well, me and Juxta can double up.
I was
Not ideal,
I
but-
was particularly not thrilled with being down a camera. That was
we can
really
blame
frustrating.
Microsoft for that.
Microsoft, god damn it,
Fuck
dude.
you.
What the fuck?
Fuck you.
What the actual fuck?
Well, while we're at it, Skype advertisements. Awesome.
Oh.
Awesome design choice, guys.
You know who owns
Yeah.
Skype?
Fuck you,
Microsoft.
Microsoft.
God damn it.
That's it, guys. We're going to Linux.
Actually,
Sorry, Microsoft.
You're like, actually, no, Microsoft. What we can do? You're not. that
you're
bad.
okay sometimes.
Maybe take us back.
Constant, just fucking weird things. Fortunately, Limit Break Radio didn't have any of the technical problems. We also were pretty much dead on time for that one too, which I'm really
How
proud
long
of us.
did that end up running?
25 hours about?
Okay. The usual.
Yeah.
No, I feel like
Two
two and maybe 2 and 10.
It was like
It wa-
204
it
to
wasn't
It
226.
just ended when you picked me up.
It wasn't quite 2.5.
It was close.
It was somewhere like that. It was like 210.
210, 215.
Somewhere like that. So it was about your average.
Huge.
Yeah, it wasn't super long or anything.
Thank you.
Which I think we were all obviously mindful that we had Final Encounter cast later. in the
Yeah.
game, too, so.
Yeah.
We can let the studio cool off a bit.
That is true. That is very true. So yeah, I mean, next episode of Final Encounter Cast, we will have cameras figured out because we're gonna get a third camera that stays with that rig. So it will be set up. I will be able to, run through it early and everything and make sure that it works well. We didn't have all of the audio problems that we had last time on Final Encounter
Thank
Cast.
heaven.
Which, like pre-show, like getting everything set up, I think we.
Yeah,
I
you
think
figured that out. You found the.
Yeah, I think we did find the method for that.
Yeah.
So, and you know what it is? I think whoever is hosting the stream can't also host the Skype call, because I think it's how like
It's just too much.
it makes the bandwidth meter go crazy, and it'll just like end up it'll end up compressing your audio too much. So you learn something every time.
Well, yeah.
But again, I think that that's sort of indicative of our creativity, where we're not really content doing the same show, just slightly differently. We want to do new things with
Explore new boundaries.
Yeah.
Push ourselves.
Yeah, and I'm really uncomfortable in front of a camera. This makes me really uncomfortable sitting in that room.
The complete opposite. I really want that camera. Every time you put the chair over top of it, I'm like, you have a chair right there. I know you're putting that up just to go over top of it. I know you are.
Because I focus on I'm not looking at you. I'm focusing on myself.
No, I know.
I
That's
can't
what
do
I
that.
do, because then you know what you're doing. Like the amount of times that your hands are in, I'm just gonna be like, stop it, Nate, stop it. We bring a fly swatter in next to me, but hand down.
Well, at least I wasn't putting the mic stand right in front of you, which was the problem last time. So.
And, by the way, if we can't find a way to get everybody their own individual camera, me and you are gonna start swapping each episode, so you can ride backseat to him a few times.
After all the crap of me being the one next to Aniro before, now that's what you want?
He just wants his own camera.
I deserve my own camera.
Sir. Wow.
Well,
Is that
all
right
right.
here?
I'm glad to see the train of me being the new Callow has officially ended. You've reclaimed your title. Well done.
No, you were
never
you
the
were
new collar.
you were attempting
No,
to be.
you were
but-
calling me Callow like 20
From
minutes
the
ago.
ego.
From the ego.
From
thing.
ego.
That's
No,
what
because
it
he was trying to be. I wasn't saying he is. He was trying to look.
He was trying to do the Reebok version of your Nike.
Thank you. I mean, I do realize that.
I take it
the
back. He
sincere-
was trying to do the fucking British Knights version of your Nike.
I do realize that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but please.
Immolation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Lighting yourself on fire?
I'm already smoking hot.
All right. Any other? Did you guys have any other thoughts for Final Encounter Cast? What we might be able to do next time to make it better?
You said we're gonna take callers next time.
Not next episode. I'm probably
No?
thinking episode 4.
Okay.
That's gonna kind of depend on the new computer and making sure that all of those components work. So.
How is callers gonna work?
A new
It's
caller
good.
coming in is gonna
It's-
fuck up the cameras.
Or-
Or the Skype cam.
Which is why we have to have a separate instance of Skype and/or Discord.
Maybe.
Discord.
What are you bumping me for?
You're gonna have to get used to using Discord, especially for.
Oh.
We're basically not gonna
Ah,
use.
shit.
We're basically not gonna use Skype for Final Encounter Cast ever.
Ever.
2 reasons. Because A, if Final Encounter Cast gets big and we start having a larger live audience that is not necessarily familiar with us from Limit Break Radio, and we end up pissing them off, we do not want them to be able to do things like trace your IP through
Yeah.
Skype.
Yeah.
Okay? So there's the potential for harassment.
Security one.
That's the first reason. And then the second reason is our audience on Limit Break Radio is already so used to Skype that I feel like taking it away from them would probably be a detriment to the amount of calls that we get.
Yeah.
So I don't have the intention on taking Skype away from them. So if we run Skype and then take calls on Discord, that's how we solve that problem.
Okay.
Also, Skype.
Skype is so awful.
Skype is awful, but fucking ads, why?
During
Oh,
calls,
but,
really?
High five to me for fixing the problem with Skype turning down all your sounds.
Yes, you
And
did.
because
Thank you.
it's not Skype, it's Windows.
It's Windows. It is Windows.
Windows does it.
God damn you, Windows.
Fuck you, Microsoft!
Microsoft, fuck.
There's no way you can win this, Micro. Anything that you do, you lose, and fuck you.
They're probably sitting out there like, well then stop fucking using our software!
No!
Get something,
Take my license away if you don't like what I'm saying about
go
it.
get something better to use. Oh wait.
Apple?
Get out. Leave. Out. Bye.
You just lost your LBR privileges.
Green room privileges.
You're back to being an intern.
So yeah, I thoughts for next episode. What do you guys think? Is there something in the gaming world that you want to talk about or rant about or that you're pissed about? I had kind of suggested the last time for this episode that we talk about the ending of Mass Effect 3
Controversy.
and how gamers sort of have this attitude that's evolved where, I can just harass the people who made it and they'll change it and make it better.
Gamers harass everyone though.
I like the idea of that concept. I just don't want to tie it to the Mass Effect theme because it's such
It is
old
old.
news
It's-
now, and it's like when you talk about beating something with a dead horse, times like a million. Like,
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it would just
I've-
feel like
I've-
piling on.
Again, if
I've
you
been
find a
thinking
modern
about
example
it.
of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to think about it, maybe work a way around that. So, I mean, if I come up with something, I'll let you know. But
Because
I
it's
just
a
like
good
that
discussion to
idea.
have.
Yeah, I mean, like this entitled attitude of like change it because I don't like it.
Well, here's the thing, the thought that I had today going forward,
Yeah.
right? With single player games like that, right? Like normal games, look at the way that you're talking. Yeah, fuck, you know what? Whatever they put out, that's what you fucking get. You don't like it, deal with it. But with MMOs,
MMOs are different. MMOs take
Maybe
constant tweaking
that-
and adjusting and stuff. And
but nowadays the way that they roll out those massive titles is it's not just here's your game, we're done. They also roll out like additional DLCs and stuff as they go along. It's starting to take on a concept or like
a living game. It
It-
changes.
it's starting to change and become a little bit more like how they roll out MMOs. But obviously MMOs have a longer life
yeah, with
expectancy.
an MMO, that content is over the period of years, sometimes decades, and the lifespan of DLC is
For Mass
like
Effect,
a
it was
year
2
or
years.
2 years.
2
Yeah.
years, yeah.
And so, like, if that's the case, I think that makes it entirely different. But more than that, what bothers me about the Mass Effect 3 case is that this is not a problem where the
Also-
game wasn't playable or that it functioned improperly or it was a bug. People didn't like the narrative quality, people didn't like the way that they chose to end the story, and that, you know what? I can't petition the creators of Lost because I didn't like the fact that series ended in a church. You have to deal with it. The ending is what it is, and if you
Save
think
it for a show.
if you
Save it for a
do you
show.
see what I'm saying?
I do, and I have things I could say back to it, but we're gonna save it for a show.
Oh my god.
So how do we make this relevant? How do we bring this up? If you're telling me to save it for the show, this needs to be on the show at some point. So
And it will.
How are we
like
gonna
I
make
said,
how are we
I
gonna make
do,
it work?
I do like the idea. I do like the topic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I think we found a little bit more of a way towards something. So just give it some time, and hell, maybe some game will come out that will really invigorate this whole concept, this whole blah 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 whatever. But just give it some time.
I don't know.
Give it some time, because if it's one thing gamers are good at, it's being fucking douchebags, and they're gonna do it again. So
I mean, I know it's just like
it's bugging you. And you want to get it out
it
there.
does.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
it does bother me. I want to have the discussion
I know.
because
You
it's
should
just
bottle it up.
it's like
Don't feel
it's-
conceal.
It's like any movie or TV show. Like, I think that the creators have an intention and that they are beholden to nobody except themselves for expressing that intention. That is at the heart of creativity. Creativity is not a democracy.
You answer to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, I don't know what the conditions Mass Effect were made under and how many, how many narrative or story decisions were driven by committee or dev team, as opposed to a game like, or a series like Metal Gear Solid, where you have Hideo Kojima at the helm, crafting every piece and part of that narrative, and like he is the master storyteller, and like that. His word is law. Like I don't know what the difference is, but I do think that there is legitimacy in intention and creative intention.
Oh, sure.
So.
And again, another reason why I think we should wait for the right time is because there is a lot more too that I could tell you in regards, because again your knowledge of Mass Effect is
it's very limited.
So limited.
It's very limited.
Once you know a little bit more about the arguments behind it or the intentions behind some of the stuff, you might not necessarily change your opinion, but maybe from the other side you can at least see where some
Understand why it came about. Yeah. I heard a little bit about what caused that issue, and
because if
there
I were
was
to
some
say
legitimate complaint to be had with how
who
that
the
game
master storyteller was of Mass Effect, the players were. No two people had the same experience, but everyone had the exact same ending.
I see, but again,
We'll get it on the show.
there's creative intention there,
Sure.
and if that's, I mean,
I see it from both sides. Obviously, like
We'll see.
the ending, I thought, oh, well, that was it. But at the same time, I wasn't amongst the people bitching, because it's the road to the destination, not the destination. So, but
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
it just seems like these are people who have never invested themselves in a TV show that didn't pan out.
And here's another reason why I don't want to do it right now is this, I think, just even right here, has the potential to be a really great fucking show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I would hate for it to just end up being the Mass Effect show, 2 years later or whatever. Then people just read, oh, it's about a Mass Effect thing that no one knows
Okay,
about
that's
anymore.
fair. That's fair.
I think it has a lot of potential, and I want to do it justice.
Okay, all right, yeah.
And I mean, as for
But there's a
what-
taste.
What do we want to talk about on the next episode? That's such a hard question for me to answer here, just because I've been spending the last 3 weeks getting ready for what we talked about today. I haven't been thinking about.
Yeah,
what's
and in
next.
a month, who knows what might pop up.
Let's be honest, we spent the last 6 days getting ready for today's show.
Sure.
And not the last 3 weeks.
Right. But I'm just
6
saying,
days.
that's the point though. Why sit here and be like, oh, what are we going to talk about in a month from now? When even if we come up with a great topic, what if some huge thing happens a week beforehand? We're like, no, we got to put that on the back burner because this shit needs to be talked about.
No, you're right, but that's kind of the whole point. Like that's the whole like.
If only we had like this master document where as we came up with ideas and things we wanted to talk about, we put them on there, so it would be so much easier to draw. No.
I know what we're talking about. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh yeah.
All right. It's so fair. I'm going home. Fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. Break your asses.
That was
He's really
good.
putting shoes
That
on.
was good.
Aw. Sit down, Robbie.
No, we're done. We talked about it.
No, sit down.
I don't want to sit down. I am seeing this through.
I'll meet you downstairs.
I need my sandwich.
That's gonna do it for the green room video for today.
Wouldn't it be nice to say that was a bit we were able to come up with?
Yeah, it's definitely not. It was just a good slam. Good job.
Taking my water too. Fuck you guys.
All right. With that epic storm out, that's going to do it for the Green Room episode. Thank you for checking out the discussion and for giving to us on Patreon. Of course, you see this video if you only give $1 to our Patreon, and we would hope that
Don't get to see it if you give $2.
no, any level. But we would hope that if you're coming in at the $1 level, that maybe you might consider bumping that up to a $5, maybe a $10. Get us a little bit closer to that weekly Final Encounter Cast goal, and you can have the show every single week.
And really make us sweat.
Yeah.
In
Oh my
terms
God.
of topics and
That's true. That's true. So if you want to turn the pressure up, that's the way to do it.
I think podcasting is the only thing that makes me appreciate winter in Michigan because it's a little bit cooler.
Yeah. But even still, during the winter, we get out of that studio and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. Anyway, thank you so much for your support and for checking out the show. We'll see you next time.
You guys. Oh, and Callum says bye.